Hey guys, welcome back. If you're new to my channel or simply not yet subscribed, my name is Brittany. Definitely make sure to hit that subscribe button. It helps me out so much and it takes 2 seconds to do. So we are into the holiday season and we are going to be talking about numerous different Christmas spirits. I do apologize if my energy is a little bit lower. I didn't sleep much last night. Pretty sure Freya is going through a sleep regression and it's not fun. No, it's not. Krampus may be one of the most well-known Christmas spirits today, right after Santa and the elves. And it's actually funny because, I know Krampus is pretty well known, but I went to Five Below the other day and this mom, I don't know what their little boy was doing. He was probably like 6 or 7. But this mom was sitting there telling her that, or telling little boy that if he doesn't behave, Krampus is going to come and get him. And like beat him and stuff. And I was just like, I've never heard anybody actually say that. So it threw me off guard. I was trying not to eavesdrop, but I heard that and it took me a second because you always hear if you're not good, Santa's not going to come and bring you presents, and you know that these other Christmas spirits exist and were very prominent or are very prominent in different parts of the world, but to hear somebody say that, so matter of fact, if you keep doing this, this is what's going to happen. When it's a being you're not used to hearing that, is just one of Krampus's associates may actually deserve just as much, if not more, fear from people. And that is Frau Perchta. I might be pronouncing that wrong. If you guys have been on my channel for a little while, you know my pronunciation is not good. Probably never going to get any better. So, just throwing that out there. So, Frau Perchta is a Christmas goddess and witch. She is very well known in the Alpine regions of southern Germany and Austria and goes by names of Perchta, Bertha, or the spinning room lady. If you hear something running in the background, that is my heater, my furnace. So that's what that is. So I do apologize for that. But anyways, Frau Perchta is depicted as having a beaked nose made of iron, being dressed in rags, and carrying a cane. She's essentially the embodiment of a crone, which is just an older woman. However, this older woman carries a long knife under her skirt. Not one you want to mess with. They also said that she resembles Frigg, which is a Scandinavian, might be Frigga. That might have been an autocorrect. Let's check. Goddess. Yes. Okay. So it is Frigga, a Scandinavian goddess who shares Frau Perchta's fondness of spinning, not spinning around in a circle, like a spinning thread, and everything being really neat and tidy. So she wouldn't make it 2 seconds into my house because things used to be neat and tidy and then I had kids. And my son became a toddler and that wasn't the case anymore. But that's okay. The first mention of Frau Perchta was around 1200 AD, and legend has it that you have to have all of your flax spun by January 6th, otherwise known as the 12th night. Otherwise, you would face her wrath. It was more often than not the woman who would face her wrath, simply because it was generally, I know times are very different now, but it was generally the woman's duty back then to make the clothes and clean the house and make sure everything's neat and tidy and ready and stuff. And since it was the woman's task, it was often the woman who met the wrath of Frau Perchta. if things weren't done. So what exactly would she do in her angered state? Well, she would trample or even set fires to any half-spun fibers. If your work was not done and the house was a mess, and on top of that, you did not leave out her bowl of porridge as an offering, well, she'd become quite peeved. And she would get so mad that she would go into your room while you were sleeping, disembowel you, and then replace your insides with rocks and straws. Yeah, not somebody that you wanted to make mad. Some of these beings of Christmas, I actually think embody more of the spooky spirit of Halloween than the spirit of Christmas. I think they're still really interesting though. Just like Lussie, Frau Perchta took place in the wild hunt. Now, she would typically fly through the sky with an army of lost souls and demonic-looking Perchten, which were her followers. Now, these demons looked exactly like Krampus. Like, you could not tell them apart from Krampus, which is maybe why Krampus was one of her associates, or why she was one of Krampus's associates, whichever way you want to word that. But just to kind of give you a look of what these creatures looked like. The Perchten begin riding the last 3 Thursdays before Christmas, which is known as Birchtal Nights or the Knocking Nights, all the way up until the 12th night. The first mention of Perchten was actually in 1468 AD. Interestingly enough, Frau Perchta had 2 sides to her though. She was a double-sided goddess, and which kind of makes me think of like Janus in Greek mythology, how there were the 2 sides. He was like, he was a minor god. But one side of Frau Perchta was this terrifying crone, who was sometimes referred to as belly slitter, which sounds like a serial killer, honestly, and would have the biggest conniption if you were to leave your house a mess. And the other side was this beautiful winter goddess by the name of Hol, whose name meant shining or bright. She was a beautiful young maiden who was youthful and as white as snow. And even her Perchten were made up of dark and light, hideous and beautiful creatures. Sometimes she was even referred to as Grandmother Winter, which is obviously a much more friendlier version than Frau Perchta. Now, Frau Perchta had 0 patience when it came to children who didn't listen. And she was also said to have this large misshapen goose foot that can sometimes be linked to the tradition of eating goose on Christmas. I've never eaten goose, ever. My family always made turkey, and then my mom's side, they would always have ham. But my dad didn't like ham, so my mom would always make turkey. But I've never had goose, and I'm not that adventurous when it comes to food, so I don't know if I'll ever try it. Now, although Frau Perchta wanted the chores to be done, she would be really angered if you were to weave on the days that were sacred, or if you refused to eat a feast with an accurate level of enthusiasm. Kind of think of like you get invited to dinner, somebody makes you this really nice dinner, you know, they spend hours cooking, and they put a lot of thought into it, and you start eating and you're just kind of like miserable, and it's like, oh yeah, thanks, huh? It's rude, right? You know, you're looking like this person, they put all this thought and this effort and this energy and this love into making you this meal, and you're just like, whatever. Now, if you were to do that, she would not be happy, which You shouldn't do that. It's not okay. She punishes the slovenly, the idle, the greedy, and the inquisitive. Unruly children would be carried off in her sack, and she would make sure that their legs were dangling out of the sack just to warn other children what could happen to them if they didn't listen. In one story, there was a young boy who was working on a farm, and he was caught spying on her. She was so furious that she caused him to go blind. She's a little hot-tempered. Luckily, he did regain his sight, but still, it was also common to take extra precautionary measures to protect oneself from the wrath of Frau Perchta, which she sliced people open, so I would want to take extra measures. But these extra measures were to create this porridge, or prepare this porridge called Perchtenmilch, and this was eaten on the 12th night with a portion that was set to be an offering to the Perchten. And one way to tell that the offering was accepted and appreciated was that the spirits would provide omens in the upcoming year. Frau Perchta's entourage was usually referred to as Perchten and consisted of these Krampus-looking demons. There are a number of tales where her followers are called Heimchen, and these are the spirits of children who had never been baptized. I hope that you enjoyed the video, and I want to know all of your guys' thoughts on Frau Perchta down below. Make sure to like this video for me, hit that subscribe button, and until next time, love you guys, bye.